Alright, so let's do a quick roll call and see who all we have in the class, and then we will get started. So we have Arya, Aryan, Dev, Chris, Neil, Rehan, Ritika and Sarah. So let me just, and we have Pranit in the classroom. So let me just send a reminder. Class has started. Alright. So today I know some of you must be traveling. Some of the kids are already availing the vacation right now. I know he is out of town, and some of you who are missing must have gone for vacation. So we'll probably give a minute more and then we'll get started. So what I was thinking was, I'll just make a quick announcement for you guys that next weekend I'm not here. So next weekend we'll skip Saturday and Sunday. That will be one of the 2 holidays that I will avail. One next weekend, and then we'll have break during the Christmas and New Year. So apart from that, we'll continue as normal. But right after I come back from Thanksgiving break, meaning in the first week of December, we'll do a test. Test as in whatever we have learned. I'm preparing a set of questions that I'll probably flash on the day of the test, and then we'll see how much we remember, what we have understood, and how much we are able to kind of solve it, and see what all concepts are with us, what has gone missing, so that we would know what we have to kind of brush up again. All right. So with that being said, let's get started. So do you guys remember what did we learn yesterday? Yeah, Chris.
We learned about like the coincident, inconsistent, and consistent, like the linear functions.
Consistent, inconsistent, and coinciding pair of linear equations. Actually, that's what we learned about. So today I will keep it a little light, knowing it's a holiday mood, and again. So we'll try learning. I just posted what we want to learn today. So we'll try learning simplification of rational expressions and evaluating non-linear functions. So that will be the plan for today. But apart from that, if you guys have any topic that you think that you are not clear about, that you would want to go through quickly, please feel free to let me know. Okay. Anything that comes to your mind which you think you're not comfortable or confident about, which we have learned in the past, or something that you are doing in the class which you would want to touch upon, we can do that, or else we'll go to simplification of rational functions, or rational expressions rather. Is that fine? Okay. I'll take silence as a yes and get started. So when you say rational expression, what do we mean by that? What is your understanding of a rational expression? Anybody? Think about it. I'll be back in 30 seconds, exactly 30 seconds. Okay? Think about it and tell me what is rational expression. Okay. Are you guys ready with your answer? Something that you want to teach your teacher? Yep. What is a rational expression?
And any expression with the power of like a fraction or a decimal.
Okay. Any expression with a power of decimal or
Fraction.
fraction.
Like x to the power of half.
Okay. X to the power of half. Okay. Any other thought? Rehan, Dev, Neil, Sarah, Arya, Ritika, anybody? Chris? Yep. Yeah, Arya, go ahead.
Is it like a fraction with a rational exponent as the numerator and denominator, or a polynomial expression?
Okay. Okay, I'll take that also as one of the inputs. Yeah, Ritika?
So a rational expression is a form of expression which can be represented in the form of P over Q, where Q is not equal to 0.
That's a very loaded information, but yeah, that's one. Saying, okay, anything in the form of P over Q, where Q is not 0. P over Q and Q is not 0. So, hey Dhanushri. So, whenever you talk about a rational expression, so we just started Dhanushri, okay? So, we are just talking about what we are going to learn today, and our agenda for today is simplification of rational expressions. So,
Okay.
when you talk about rational expression, again, everything starts with English and then travels towards maths. So, look at this. Rational and expression. We know what is expression. Yeah. When I say that expression, I express myself and there is no outcome. Meaning, I come to the class, keep smiling for next 1 hour and not teach you guys anything. Meaning, there is no outcome. That is expression. X squared plus 4x is an expression because there is no equal to sign. There is no outcome. Be it 0 or 205, doesn't matter. If there is no output, that is what is an expression. Now, so expression we know, it could be in the form of x, only x is a variable and you can have something like this also. It is still an expression, there is no equal to sign, there is no output. Now, what is rational? Rational, this is where we learned about different numbers, right? Where we learned about whole number, natural number, integers, then we learned about decimals, fractions, and then we learned about something called rational number. Like, again, try to recall from history. When you talk about a number line, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this side minus 1, 2, 3, 4. If you talk about 1, 2, 3, 4 and you go on, that is natural number. Include 0 also into the mix, that becomes a whole number. Include negatives also, that becomes an integer. When you start talking about fractions, 1 by 2, 3 by 2, 7 by 4, whatever, these are called fractions, yeah, which you can repeat in the form of a decimal also. Similarly, when you have negative fractions also, minus 3 by 2, minus 7 by 9, whatever, the entire set, everything together, that can be represented, be positive or negative, that can be represented in the form of a fraction. It's called rational number. So rational number is, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? By definition, if I'm going wrong, just let me know. Rational number is the entire set of numbers that you can think of, which can be represented in the form of a fraction. So, be it 2, you can represent this as a fraction. Be it minus 8, which you can represent as a fraction. Be it 1 by 4, which is a fraction by itself. Be it minus 3 by 2 or 0, whatever it is. Each and every number that you can think of, which can be represented in the form of a fraction, is called a rational number. Are you guys with me so far? Yeah? No? Not convinced? Okay. So now, when you say, now since we have recalled what is a rational number, now we are going back to what we already know. What is a rational? When we talk about rational, you're talking about something that can be written in the form of a fraction. Be it a natural number, be it an integer, be it a fraction, be it a positive number, be it a negative number, be it a negative fraction, positive fraction, zero, whatever it is. Anything that you can write in the form of a fraction is called a rational number. So rational number is mother of all numbers that we mostly deal with. Yeah. So rational and expression, meaning expression we know. Expression is something which doesn't have an outcome. So if I say this is an expression. But it's rational expression, meaning something is in the form of this. Or even this. Now you have expression in the numerator, you have expression in the denominator. There is no equal to sign anywhere. So these are expressions, but in the form of a rational or rational number. That is how it becomes rational expression. Anjika.
Hello.
So far we have just started talking about, today's agenda is evaluating non-linear function and simplification of rational expressions. So when we just started with rational expression and we have just decoded what exactly do we mean by rational expression. So expression, this is expression, this is expression, and this is represented in the form of a rational number, like a fraction. That is why it is called rational expression. Can I assume that we are on the same page with respect to the understanding of what exactly is a rational expression? Everybody? Thank you, Ritika. Arya, Aryan, Sarah, Neil, Anjika, Chris, Dave. Okay. So we are clear. What is if see, solving math is very easy, very easy. Trust me. With the level of expertise you guys have, with whatever we deal with every day in day out, solving math is not difficult. What is important is we have to be very clear with respect to our understanding of what exactly we are trying to solve. If we know what we are trying to solve, how do we interpret a problem, then solving is like a cakewalk. So that is why, one more time, solving is the last step. Trusting, reading, analyzing, that is where the maximum effort goes. Yeah? So always keep your solving part towards the end. If you expedite the whole process and as soon as you get the question and you start solving it, that is where, I'm not saying that you will be wrong always, but the likelihood of being wrong is more if you go with this approach. Yeah? So always analyze. So that's why I'm stressing so much on simplification of rational expression. Because if I look at the agenda for today's class, trust me, I don't have any agenda for today. Solving rational expression, there's nothing new that I'm going to teach you guys. You guys already know it. I'm just trying to emphasize that we should not have any gap with respect to how do we look at a problem and then approach for solving it. So far, this much of Gyan is okay. Shall we move on? Okay. Yep. Somebody was raising hand?
That was an accident, sir.
Okay, not a problem. Now, so we are trying to practice something which is around simplification of rational expression. Now look at this. If somebody says, this is a rational expression, no doubt about it. What we are trying to do is this the most simplified form? Like if I say 4 by 20, is this the most simplified form? Probably not. you have an opportunity to play around with this. Then you will say, okay, 4 I can write as 4 times 1 and 20 I can write as 5 times 4. And then you do tic-tac-toe. Now it becomes 1 by 5. This is much better than this. And that is all about that we do with maths. We simplify the problems to get to something much more amicable, simpler, cuter that way. Yeah? This looks much cuter, right? I mean, imagine 2000 divided by 8000. Nobody loves this. This is too big a number to deal with. If this comes down to 1 by 4, this is what is math all about. Yeah? So same way here also, if you look at it, this exercise or this chapter is all about how do you find ways to simplify a rational expression and make it much more simpler than what it is right now. Now if you look at this scenario, I believe you all know this, but this is a squared minus b squared, meaning x squared minus 2 squared by x plus 2. And a squared minus b squared equals nothing but a plus b into a minus b. So x plus 2 into x minus 2. See, you have an opportunity for doing tic-tac-toe here also. This became x minus 2. Yeah? Are you with me so far? I know this must be looking more like a kid's play, but still, I'm just trying to confirm that from an approach point of view, you guys are clear or not. Okay. Now let's. So this chapter or this particular topic that we're talking about, you will see that this doesn't exist by itself. It is actually a mixture of few things, like what is a rational number, what is a rational expression, what we have learned with respect to the expressions, and then it also deals with how do you solve quadratic equations, how do you factorize the quadratic equations, or a polynomial, or any polynomial for that matter, and then apply that for simplifying your expressions. Okay, so let's look at something like this. Yeah. Can you guys try simplifying this? What will be the most simplified form of this? Meaning, essentially, from approach point of view, what I'm looking at is factorize this, and if there is a way to knock off something, try doing it and let me know. So this is one. Second one is and the third one is yeah. So I want you guys to get your hands dirty by solving these three problems. Even if it looks easy, let's do it. Everybody got the question, right? First question is x squared minus x plus 2 divided by x plus 1. Again the same thing. I want you guys to factorize the numerator and denominator and simplify it. Same thing with the second one. Same thing you have to do with the third one. Again, I have given three different types of problems with the intent to see if you guys remember how did we learn about factorizing quadratic equations. Can I assume everybody is trying? Okay. So today I am not the teacher is feeling lazy, okay? So I'll not teach much. I'll make you guys do some of the problems. Again, same intent is the same. Make you practice something. Don't take my joke seriously. Intent remains the same. No, isn't it? What is it doing here?
I put the x squared into x times x,
Mm-hmm.
and then I subtracted the x off from the x times x,
Mm-hmm.
which left you with x plus 2, and then x plus 1, knock off the x.
No, but how would this become x square minus x? What does it give you? X?
No, x squared was broken down into x times x minus x.
Okay.
This minus x was already there, so I knocked off this x. X minus x is nothing. And then here we did tic-tac.
But why would you do x minus x here?
So we can get
No, you cannot. So you cannot subtract x from x square. Even if this is the same variable, these two are two different animals altogether. So if you have to do it, the only way you can do it is this is the only way you can do it. Otherwise, you cannot subtract x from x square, or even you cannot subtract x square from x cube either, because even if the variable is the same, but when you look at the power, you have to treat them very different. They are different numbers, different variable altogether, because it's a power. And the only way you can do it, you can take common from here. Or if you know the value of x equals to 2, then you would put that becomes 8 minus 4. That's the only way you can subtract. But between this and this, you have to solve these independently and then deal with them. You cannot subtract this way actually. That's not correct. Yeah. Okay. Anybody ready? Yeah, Chris.
So I think I have an answer for the second and the third one, but I think the first one is already in its simplest form.
First one you think is already in the simplest form?
Because I think the quadratic cannot be like factored, because if you factor that, you'll have to use a quadratic equation and then you'll get like non-imaginary numbers and stuff, I guess.
Okay, we'll see that. I mean, I'm not denying your answer, but I mean, like I always say, I'll not trust anybody. I'll still do it to verify what you're saying is right or not. And probably the way I will try solving it, if you and I see that okay, we are going the same approach, probably you might be right. I mean, we will validate that. How about the second one?
Second one, I got x minus 2.
Okay.
And third one, I got x minus 1.
X minus 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ritika.
So I got the same thing, but for the first one, I factored the first one.
Okay. What was your answer then?
My answer was x minus 2.
X minus 2. Okay. So again, see. And that's what I like. When we had 10 people in the class, including the teacher, I mean, while obviously the intent is to learn from each other, but learn from each other and then still do it. So I like the fact that Ritika and Chris were not kind of getting biased. I mean, maybe you both solved it together, so that's why there was no option to get influenced by anybody. But then, yeah, we'll look at this one. Okay, so I got two answers. That gives me two options to contemplate. I will try solving it myself because I'm very thick-skinned when it comes to going with anybody's answer. Okay, till I solve it, I will not be convinced. But yeah, let's see what everybody else comes back with. So Chris, while everybody else is trying to solve, you might want to consider reviewing your first one and see if there's something that you had an oversight for.
Yeah, sure. I'm solving it again.
How about everybody else? Nanushri, Dev, Aryan, Arya, Anjika, Rehan. No, even if you don't feel confident, I would say still get your hands dirty enough. Every time after I go back from the class, my hands actually get dirty in absolute terms also. So yeah, no harm in getting your hands dirty. Try it. Even if you go wrong, when I'm solving it, you can at least cross verify and validate if your approach was in line with how it was supposed to be around. Pranit, are you close to? And again, just a friendly advice for everybody, okay? When you're trying to solve something and it looks very confusing, okay? Keep the book and pen aside, just go for a quick 10-second walk. Forget about what you were doing and then come back refreshed and try doing it. That works at times, okay? I have the most unorthodox method of learning, okay? That's how I have studied for myself. If I'm not getting something, I'll just dump it, leave it for 10 minutes. I'll come back to it later. Try that approach, that works. Okay, so let's, just in the interest of time, let's move on, okay? So I would want everybody to pay attention to what I'm doing. So everybody has noted down the questions, right? Let me put it in the corner of the board. X squared minus x plus 2 divided by x plus 1. That is the first question. So this one, create the real state for me. Second one is x cube. X cube minus 2x squared by x squared. This creates more real state for me. And then the third one is x squared minus 6x plus 5 divided by x minus 5. I have a lot of space now. So let's look at the first one. X squared x squared minus x plus 2 by x plus 1. Now, this guy is very simple. I mean, I don't think we have an opportunity for breaking this guy. What we are trying to explore is, can I break it down? Now, for breaking this down, you have to look at, see here, this is a standard form of an equality equation. Just no. So if I have something in this form, I would say this is my standard form. Here, what is my value of A? A equals 1. What is the value of B? B equals minus 1. And what is the value of C? C equals 2. If you guys recall, some of you who were there in the previous classes when we were trying to deal with solving quadratic equations, we looked at always multiply A and C and get what is the value. A times C, what is the value? 2 into 1, 2. Now, you have to look at how do you split B into two parts which on multiplication gives you this value. Okay. So minus, I have minus 1. What do I do to get a 2? I can do minus 1 times minus 2. It gives me a 2. But if I add these two together, what do I get? I get a 2. I get a negative 3. So if I do it like this, if I break this one into two parts such that it gives me minus 1. So it will be 1 will be 2, let's say minus 2 plus 1. That's what gives me, sum of that is minus 1, which is what my value is here. Now multiplying these two gives me minus 2. So this might not be a viable solution, but let's look at it. So what we are saying is this minus x I can say as minus 2x plus x. So let's do this. X squared minus 2x plus x plus 2. So this together became minus x. Yeah. So we have not changed the value. We just tried finding out how do I split it by x plus 1. Now if I do that, I can take these two things together and take these two things together. What does it become? X squared minus 2x together. I'm just for the sake of grouping, I'm putting them together. Plus x plus 2. Now here if you look at this and then whatever you have in the denominator, that remains as is. So from this I have x that I can take common, which becomes x minus 2 plus x plus 2 divided by x plus 1. Now if you look at this whole expression, here you have x minus 2, here you have x plus 2. So essentially you cannot split it. There is nothing common here. You cannot say x plus 1 into x minus 2 because this is not common here. This is different. So that's why here Ritika, probably you overlook that part. Okay. Always you have to look at the method here. Okay, for everybody. Okay. When you're trying to break this, you have to always look at this form, multiply these two, a and c, and get what the value is. Your value is 2. You have to find out how do you split the value of b into two parts as a summation or subtraction, whatever it is, to get a 2. Now, if you have minus 1, okay, as a b, you cannot split this to get a 2. Minus 1 you can write as what? 2, let's say minus 2 plus 1. And when you multiply these two, it gives you minus 2, not 2. Yeah, Ritika.
So, the way I do it is when I have to find two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to minus 1. So I did negative 2 plus 1 because negative 2 times 1 is negative. Oh wait, that's positive.
That's right. So again, it's very simple. Okay, look at the coefficient of x squared and look at the constant. Multiply these two guys. Whatever value you get, that is what your goal is, and this is what your two parts of b should add up to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is why we were not getting it. Had it been like this, that would have been much easier. And then that if this was plus 1, then this would have been your easy picking, where you would have said, okay, plus 1, that is minus 2 minus 1. But again, that doesn't give you this thing. So this one will not work. Yeah? So basically you have to look at the same funda. Multiplication of these two, and then multiplication of these two gives you 2. So now you have to look at how do you split, how do you factorize 2. So you can do it as 2 into 1, or that's it, that's the only option. Now, how you look at these two numbers to get a 1. So 2 and 1. So the only way you can do is 2 minus 1. So here you can break this as x squared plus 2x minus x plus 2. And then you can see here. Between these two guys again, if you look at what happens here, x, if you take common, it becomes x plus 2. And here you have minus, if you take minus out, it becomes x minus 2. So this is not cutting ice for us. Yeah. So this is the place where you get the clue. So it's as simple as multiply these two, get the value, and then look at the factors of this guy and see by any chance adding those factors gets you a B. If it gets you a B, then you are good. If it doesn't, then you don't have a way to simplify it. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody else in the class?
Makes sense, sir.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, Chris.
So for the first one, would the final answer just be like the original?
It remains the same. Yeah, there is no way to simplify it further. You cannot simplify it. You cannot factorize it. You cannot factorize it to an extent where you can knock off this guy. Yeah. So this is the most simplified form, like you said in the beginning. Now there is one more thing that you can use to validate this, which is called the method of discriminant. Right? See, you will be able to solve this thing. Okay? Again, compare this with x. The standard form of the quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay? So let's say this is 0. Okay? Will you be able to solve for this equation? Meaning, will you be able to get x equal to something? A, not A. Will you be able to get, let's say, x equals to alpha and x equals beta as two answers? Will you be able to solve this first? So our question was this, x squared minus x plus 2. Right? Now, there is another method which is called method of discriminant. Meaning, by any equation, if you have any quadratic equation like this, the two answers, two solutions for this would be minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2 times a. Now, this guy is called the discriminant, which tells you, which decides whether you will have one answer, one solution, two solution, or no solution. Now look at b squared minus 4ac in this equation. What is b squared? b is minus 1 is squared. Minus 4ac, 4 in times a is 1, times c is 2, square root of this. What is this one? This gives you 1 squared, minus 1 squared is 1, minus 4 into 1 into 2, minus 8, which becomes minus 7, square root of minus 7. This is not this is called imaginary number. If your discriminant is imaginary, you will not be able to determine the solution for this one. If you are not able to determine the solution, that means you will not get two values of x by solving this. If you cannot get two values of x by solving this, that means you cannot break it into, if you have two values, then that would have been something like this. If alpha and beta were two values, it would have broken into two factors like this. Since you are not able to find out a solution for this, that means this is not possible. That means you cannot split this guy. Complicated? And be honest. I mean, it's fine. Just keep me honest. If there is something that I'm making complicated, I can take a step back and come back to it one more time. Pranit, are you with me? Okay. Dhanushri, Arya, Aryan, Chris, Rehan.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Yeah. So let's do a quick recap of how do you factorize a quadratic equation, because that is going to be the backbone of your solution of problems like this. Okay. So first one we saw. Let's look at the two problems. This was like a easy peasy one. X cube minus 2x squared divided by x squared. So here what you see is x squared is common here, right? Because x cube you can always write as x squared into x minus 2x squared divided by x squared. So here you can take x squared common and this becomes x minus 2 divided by x squared. So you can do tic-tac-toe here, and that is how most of you got the answer as x minus 2. Yep. Yeah, clear? Okay. Now, so before I delete this, everybody clear, right? Sarah, Neil, Aryan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's go to the third question, which was much easier than everything else. Now you look at this. X squared minus 6x plus 5 divided by x minus 5. So here we can apply the same thing that we were talking about before. Here what is A? A is 1. What is B? B is minus 6. What is C? C is 5. Now multiply A and C. What do you get here? A times C is 5. Now how do you split this? Minus 6. Or let's do one thing. A into C, whatever you got, by multiplying A and C, you got 5, which you can write as 5 times 1. Now can you use these two numbers to get a minus 6? You can. Minus 5 and minus 1 get you minus 6. So let's try doing that. So this becomes x squared minus 6x. I can write this as minus 5x minus x plus 5 divided by x minus 5. Okay. So now if you take these two things together, what happens? Here x squared minus 5x. So let's say x is present in both of them, so x minus 5. And then minus you take out, or minus 1, whatever you call it. And then you have x minus 5 divided by x minus 5. So this gives you x minus 1 times, because the x minus 5 is common in both the places. So here x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 5. And then you have x minus 5 here. Tic-tac-toe. This is your answer. Now, the power of discriminant you might want to use always. After doing all this much of drama, right, if you realize that this is not possible, that becomes a waste of effort. What you can always do is, if you have got any equation, first thing you should say, okay, will this equation or expression, or can this expression be split into two parts? Meaning, if I look at this as an equation, will I be able to get two values of x here? And how you will check is finding out this discriminant, which is b square minus 4ac square root. This is a discriminant. Okay, that is how you got minus b plus minus the discriminant by 2a. So if you get this value, and if this is coming as imaginary number, no point of doing all this. So this one becomes your mastermind, which tells you whether your Now this thing can be split into two parts or not. Meaning, will you be having two answers for this one, two values of x by solving this as an equation? So here if you look at it, what is value b squared? So b squared is nothing but minus 6 squared minus 4ac, 4 times a times c, 5. Minus 6 square gives you 36 minus 4 times 5, that is 20. This gives you square root of 68, which is equal to 4. So then you know that, yeah, my discriminant is giving me a reasonable answer. That means I will have two values of x if I use this method. That means I can certainly, so what you can do is here, you can take this approach also, that okay, let me find out what are the two values of x. X is here, what is minus b? B is minus 6, so minus of minus 6 plus minus this whole thing, you got a 4, so put a 4 here by 2 into 8, 2 into 1. So x equals minus into minus 6, that is plus 6 plus minus 4. I will not put a plus here to confuse you guys, by 2. So there are two values of x, one when it is a plus and one when it is a minus. So you got x equals, first value is 6 plus 4 by 2 and second value is 6 minus 4 by 2. So here you got x equals 6 plus 4, 10 by 2 as 5, and second one you got 6 minus 4, that is 2 by 2. So from this you got x equals 2 by 2, that is 1. So that means this whole thing can be broken into x minus 5 and x minus 1. You get this here, this side. So x minus 5, x minus 1. So that is, see, whatever we did, so this became x squared minus 6x plus 5 by x minus 5 became, now by solving all this you found that okay, there are two values of x that you will get. So that means you can split this whole thing into two parts. That is how you get two values. So it becomes x minus 5 into x minus 1 by x minus 5, and then you know how to do the calculus. So there are two options. Okay? What I'm saying is, since this is like a silver bullet, if you remember the formula, find out the two values of x and that becomes your split. Break it down. Or else do the same thing like I said, multiply a into c and see how you can factorize that piece to get a breakdown. Quite loaded or understandable? Okay. So, okay, I got one vote. I need more. Even the election is over. Are the kids from next class already joining? We still have 9 minutes, kids, okay? If you guys are joining a little early, wait for 9 more minutes, okay? Otherwise, you'll end up learning something more complicated. Alright, so did everybody understand this? So now, let's do a quick recap of what we know when it comes to solving a quadratic equation or factorizing a quadratic equation, okay? Solving and factorizing are the same thing here, if you look at it that way, okay? If I say that you have quadratic equation like x squared minus 4x plus 4, what it means is, from this you are trying to find out two values of x. And here I will say that okay, this is x minus 2 whole squared. That means x equals 2. So basically x minus 2 equals 0. That means x equals 2. You have only one solution here. Even if it's a quadratic equation, you have only one solution. So you can write this equation in the form of x minus 2 into x minus 2. Because you have only one answer, both the factors will be this. Yeah? So whenever we talk about solving an inequality equation, essentially what we are trying to do is derive two factors. If this is equal to 0, that means either this is 0 or this is 0. So this is one answer and this is another answer. So when x minus 2 equals 0, that means x equals 2. Here also you have unfortunately or fortunately the same factor, so that's why you're getting two answers. So inequality equation, solving inequality equation essentially means you are trying to factorize that, and there could be different ways of doing it. You are either trying to factorize it or you get the solution and use that solution to derive the factors. Now there are three methods for doing so. Most of you have gone through it. I'm just doing a quick recap in next 2 minutes. So when you have, let's say, inequality equation like 4x square minus 8x plus 7, your first attempt would be to see if this aligns with any of the known standard formula or rule, or it's called identity if I'm not wrong, which equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, or a minus b whole squared, which is equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, or a squared minus b squared, which equals a plus b into a minus b. If the equation, the quadratic equation that you have to solve, if it aligns with one of these, then you have a ready-made answer. You don't really have to worry about it. That's the first attempt. Second attempt is, if this is not fitting here, see here you can see that, okay, no, this is not working. This is not work. Then you have this is the first approach. Second approach is, this is where you will go the approach of taking a times c and then look at b, how you can split that. So here in this case, a times c would be what? 4 times 7, which is 28. Now you have to find out how you can get a minus 8 by splitting this. So what are the factors of 28? You can write this as 1 into 28, or you can write as 2 into 14, or you can write as 7 into 4. And none of these added together gives you a minus 8. If it does, then you break it and derive the factors. If it doesn't, then you have the third approach, which is called the method of discriminant. This is where you will say to find, I don't have to worry about anything else. I just remember this magical formula which says minus b plus minus the discriminant b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So I'll find out this value first. What is b square minus 4ac? B square is minus 8 square minus 4ac. 4 times 7. Now this is the square root of minus 8, square of minus 8, that is 64, minus 4 4 ja 16, 7 ja 112. You have a problem. The discriminant is giving you an imaginary value, negative of this thing. That means you are not going to find a solution for this one. So there are three methods, three stages of doing it. First, in the first glance, as soon as you see a quadratic equation, you have to look at, is it aligning with any of the standard identical that we know? I believe it's called identicals only. If not, just check it, okay, the term. But there are three formulas that we know for long enough. If it does, then you just convert that to this form and then you deal with it. If it doesn't, then you go to this approach of multiplying a and c and then using that factor to see how it can match with b. If that also doesn't work, this is your silver bullet. But then this requires memorizing this formula. Yeah. So once you use these methods, then you can derive the factors and probably deal with how you want to simplify your numerator and denominator. Because in the simplest form, you will have a linear equation in the numerator and denominator, easy to solve. If you have a quadratic equation, this is where this learning will come handy, which you can apply and try solving it. And if it is more than that, we'll see what to do. Yep. That brings us to the end of the class for you guys, and time for saying